Welcome back, everybody, to the Lowe Down on the floor. I am Devin, aka Road Trips, even though my time has already passed, and we're breaking down all the drama, the duels, and the trivia twists from the floor season 4. And today we have a very special guest. He's the guy who gave us not one, but 2 duels in the premiere and nearly walked away with $40,000 until Hollywood got in his way. And by in his way, Sandra Bullock. You gotta study your Sandra Bullock movies. But we digress. So welcome to the podcast, Justin. How are you feeling?
Thank you so much. I am feeling good. I had a great watch party last night. I had some family and friends over. And I will say it was much harder losing in the moment than watching myself lose. I could laugh at myself then, but man, it's a good episode. It's a good episode.
You're good. You're good TV. I don't know who's in the casting
Thank you.
department, Justin. I don't know who's in the casting department still, but they did a fine job of finding you. And if I had my way, you're an all-stars, man. You're an all-star to
Wow,
me.
that is the biggest compliment that you could give me. Thank you. That is very, very kind. I would love to be back on All Stars. If they ever did that, if they give me any call, I'm there immediately.
It's like there, battle of the seasons. But before we get into breaking down the episode, let's actually get into the numbers. The first numbers
Let's do
that
it.
I want to think about, the experts won 75% of the duels that night. It was an experts heavy. If you
Interesting.
challenged, you probably would have lost unless you inherited something. But we won't talk about that just yet. The next thing, Pet Supplies had both contestants had 17 correct answers, 0 passes with a 3-second differential, making it the closest duel by far. Number
That
3.
duel was absolutely intense.
It was. It was. Number 3, Sandra Bullock as a movie got inherited twice. We will talk a little bit deeper on that. Number 4, $40,000 won. The biggest one time outside of the winning the whole thing. $40,000 won. And then leading into our guess, Utah becomes the first state to be eliminated off of the floor, which is crazy when you think about the probability of one state being eliminated on episode
Right?
1.
Tell me about it. Oh my gosh, a dagger to the heart when that happened. I'll tell you, when they showed the map of the United States on that screen behind us and blacked it out, we did not know that was going to happen. And I about fell to the floor when that happened. It was devastating.
I swear my heart dropped for you. I was like, dang, ouch. I don't want to see my state go so
Yeah,
fast.
right? Like number one out of 50 in the first episode, but it's all good.
That is crazy. But I do want to talk a lot about how it feels to have youth on youth violence happen so fast. But before we get there, what got you into the floor? What's your journey to even get to this point to being on episode 1?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So I've always been into reality shows. So The Survivor, Amazing Race, Big Brother, The Traitors, all of that. And so my dream has been to be on a reality TV show. And so I just decided I was going to start applying to every show possible. And the first one I saw was The Floor. I applied to it. I didn't even know what it was. This was so embarrassing. I I made it to my first interview. I look back on it. I should have done so much more research. I didn't even know it was a trivia show in my interview until they were talking about it. And so I turned my entire interview around instead of talking about social strategy, just talking about how much I love trivia. But we made it. And so then after I found out I was on the show, I went back and watched everything and I was like, oh, okay, I understand what this is now.
I actually do say there is a bit of social strategy that can be involved in the floor, depending on the makeup of the people that's around you. Some people don't
Yes.
want to attack their friends, but apparently some people don't really care about that.
Some people do not care about their friends. That is the truth.
So that leads me to this question. Did you and Frank have a relationship before he challenged you on the floor?
Yes, that was the craziest thing to me because we had spent, so we got on a bus at about 6 a.m. that morning, and we didn't start filming for maybe 8 or 9 hours after that. And so we were all hanging out in one room. Frank and I happened to sit on the bus together, find out we were both the Utah contestants, and then we hung out all day. We live like 15 to 20 minutes apart, and we have all these similarities, people that we know. And so we were hanging out, and then they told us maybe 10 minutes before we went on stage where we were going to be on the floor. And Frank and I found out we were next to each other and we were pumped. We were like, let's go. This is awesome. Because we knew that if you work together,
Hmm.
like your odds of going far just exponentially grew. And so Frank and I, we were like, okay, if we can stick together, Utah can go far. We can run the table, grow our territories around each other, and then all of a sudden we saw what happened, and that was not the case. So I don't know if he was just lying to my face the whole time, or if he decided on a quick whim to go for me. But my reaction was real. I was shocked.
No, I was kind of shocked too. Um, we know that the TV people want the best television possible, possibly having drama and
Right.
all those
Yeah.
kind of things. Like, yes, that we live for it. But I was shocked to my core because if I was next to someone from South Carolina, I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm gonna at least wait till episode 9. Like I literally said it to
Right.
my fellow co-hosts. We actually said to each other, we actually sat at the table, same thing, rode on the bus together, and we was like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we understand eventually we're going to have to take each other out. This is our pact. Unless we are forced into it, and nobody was forced, there's plenty of people to pick from. And unless we're
Yes.
forced, we'll wait till episode 9 to do it.
Yeah, see that's where my head was too. I think that's the right move, but it is what it is. I mean, we both would have made it to episode 2 if he didn't pick me. So
But
whatever, Frank.
so I understand that you hop on the floor. This is your first time seeing where you're
Hmm.
located and seeing what categories are around you. Were there any
Hmm.
categories that you initially saw that around you where you were like, yes, I know I can definitely compete with that one, and no, please, for whatever, I don't want to have to go against that category?
Yeah, man. I remember when they initially showed us the categories we were around, I had made a mental image in my head beforehand of maybe 25 to 30 categories that I was like, okay, if I'm by these, I can challenge them and I have a good chance at them. And then I saw they were all on the complete other side of the floor. And I was around formal wear, on screen judges, holiday foods, and state flowers. And those four, I was like, oh dear, I have no chance against any of these. So my hope was that people were going to start just moving all around me and those categories would change before I had to do face any of them. Um, because everyone around me was really smart. I was surrounded by two lawyers. The food holidays and the on screen judges were both lawyers. So I was like, okay, I don't want to go against them right off the bat. The the state flowers girl, she like collects flowers. There was something that there was a rumor going around that she like collected state specific flowers and built a whole business off of it. So I was like, there's not a chance in the world I'll beat her on that. So honestly, out of the four categories around me, I was not feeling confident about any of them. The one I really wanted Roman numerals. That ended up
Oh.
about four spaces behind me, but that was my number one of like, okay, I could take this one down no matter who has it.
So, um, seeing that you were in no man's land, and this is me talking to America, like America, you really don't know how stressful it is to be randomized or challenged on episode 1, because you literally you every other episode people will get a chance to study. You don't really
Mm-hmm.
get a chance to study episode one. So if you see someone
No,
completely whiff, let's say like on villains, it's because you didn't really study that. You just thought
no.
like, hey, I just met this guy 2 seconds ago, and now I got to go challenge what I think I'm most comfortable with. And so going back, and I actually got to pull up, why did you choose your category to be the expert on? I guess we got to go there first.
I chose Hall of Fame. Yes, I chose Hall of Famers for my category. I had talked a lot about in my interview how much I loved watching sports growing up. I have five younger siblings, and I have three of those are younger brothers, and they have always been more athletic than me. But we played sports together, like all growing up. I go over to my family's house every Sunday, and we still play sports together. And even though they beat me in all the sports, I would always beat them on all the knowledge, the mental knowledge of anything really. Um, and so I had talked a lot about that in my interview, and they were like, "Well, do you know a lot of like old sports people?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Sure.
I know a decent amount." But I mean, in reality, like I know the people that I've watched. And so I ended up with Hall of Famers, but I was happy with it. I felt like it was a good balance of things that I knew, but just intimidating enough that most people didn't want to go after it.
Unless you're Frank.
Unless you are Frank and you are a 67-year-old man who knew all of the people in the Hall of Fame. Yes.
Yes. And for Frank's defense, I know you don't want me to hear me defending Frank just yet.
No, give the defense. Absolutely.
When you are selected, you won your first duel. He won formal he was challenged.
Hmm.
Which I have to say, looking back at formal wear, I thought that was actually a kind of difficult duel because you didn't know what they actually wanted you
Yeah.
to identify. So shout outs to that. That was a difficult duel. I would have,
That was a very difficult duel. I remember even when they showed the dress shirt, I thought they were talking about the cufflinks or the buttons or something. But yeah, that whole duel, I was like, wow, I am glad I am not in that duel.
yeah.
I would not have done well.
And so your adrenaline's pumping. Rob Lowe has just told you you can win 40,000 guaranteed tonight. You can win the 40K
Yep.
because most people aren't going to win any money. And I could get $40,000. If I just got $5,000, I would have been
Hmm.
happy with my time away from my family. So 40,000. And he looked around and he said, huh, that's a young man over there. How many people does he actually know was in the Hall of Fame? And I have inherited Sandra Bullock movies. Do I really want to go back to the floor defending Sandra Bullock movies? He probably was thinking the same thing as you. I don't really want it, but I know
Oh,
what I do want.
absolutely.
and, so,
Yeah.
and so I can understand the logic. Now, the power of friendship in my heart would have said, nah, I can't. Justin, just as my fellow statesman, I can't. I can't in my heart of hearts. But I feel that's probably what he saw and was like, well, I didn't want to, but I don't see any other path to get guaranteed $40,000 to challenge you in that duel. How did you
Right. No,
feel
I
in
mean,
that moment?
I think you're completely right. Right. If you win one duel, you have two squares. Every single other person who wins a duel that night was going to have two squares. If you win one more duel, it puts you ahead to three, which is a huge differentiator in episode one. He's in the middle of the floor, so it's not like he can hide in a corner. So I get it. Like when the opportunity presents itself, it did make sense. It just was a shocking blow. So in the moment when it happened to me, I was dumbfounded, but it does logically make sense.
I'm just trying to. I'm actually gonna break down. I broke down your stats for that. I'm gonna try to pull this
Oh,
up. I'm a little bit of a numbers nerd because at the end of the day, that's the only way I can make myself feel better for my loss.
hey, I get that. I get that completely. I love the numbers. I'd love to hear them.
Let's see. Let me pull it up. So, what I have for you, Mr. Justin. Of course, you had two duels, one win, so you had a win percentage of 50%. Your strength of opponents, meaning what was their record, was 67%. I know that's nah. You had 14 correct answers. You had seven passes, giving you a correct answer efficiency rate of 66.67%. Yes, I know I'm really, really in the weeds. Your
That sounds
opponent,
pretty good though.
yeah,
For based on how my Sandra Bullock category went, that sounds pretty good.
yeah. So your opponents answered 15 correct answers, and you were able to answer about one correct answer or one answer for every 3 seconds. So you were pretty quick. You were one of the quicker people that night. And and the thing that really did get you was the Sandra Bullock movies, which was hilarious that your bluff on Miss Congeniality would be the very first movie that they
Oh,
showed.
right. Very first, and it went over to Luke, of course. No, I had a list of maybe 9 or 10 Sandra Bullock movies that I knew, and I was just hoping that my luck would be good enough that all of them would fall on my side. And every time that he got one that I knew, I was like, "Uh oh, my odds are shrinking. Uh oh, uh oh, uh oh," and then it was over.
I, I don't know if you did this during your duel because I had to look back at it, but I know when I was on stage and you see your opponent is answer questions and make a little sneak peek to the middle screen, like, what movie did he just get? Like, oh,
No, I was absolutely doing that. I'd hear the answer and I'd say, no, no, that's the one I knew. I know The Blind Side.
like, yes, that's my movie.
Yeah.
No one watches The Lake House. Nobody.
No, wait. Oh
Oh
dear.
man.
Yeah. It was funny. I honestly I wasn't feeling that embarrassed about missing any of them until I missed Heat with Melissa McCarthy. And when I missed that, the entire rest of the floor went, ooh, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
oops. I guess that's what I should have
oh,
known.
oh
But I did not
no.
know that.
I know that had to be tough because generally you can't hear anybody on the floor. So you it's
No,
like
right?
it's like if you can hear the groan, you're like, uh-oh, I think I'm losing.
Yeah, that was the exact moment that I knew without a doubt that I was gone. I
Yeah.
was pretty confident the second it landed on Luke. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead,
No,
but
go ahead. Go ahead. What
no,
did you feel when it landed on Luke that he was going to challenge you?
it. So here's the thing about Luke. I love Luke a lot. He was a super super genuine guy, incredibly kind. But it was crazy because the whole day leading up to it, he was like, Justin, just know I'm not coming after you because I don't know anything about sports. The only category that I'm going after is Sandra Bullock movies. I want to be around that so bad. I was like, dude, that is awesome. You will crush that category. And so then once I went back to the floor, I said, okay, as long as the randomizer lands anywhere other than Luke, I think I'm okay. And so there's a split second when it lands on him that I'm facing the other way and I don't see it anywhere. And I'm like, where's the randomizer? And I turn around and I see it on him, and I immediately just go, no. So I was like 95% sure that when I saw on him that I was cooked, I was done.
Oh man, that is hilarious to an extent where he's like, "Hey, there's only one category I want," and you're
Oh,
like, "Oh,
right?
like please don't randomize that guy right there." And Luca's probably like, "Hey, this is my time to shine. I know
Right?
what he,
Absolutely.
I know what he doesn't know."
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh man, and that's crazy how the relationships that we build can sometimes help us and hinder us at the same time. That
Right. Just absolutely so ironic.
I have, it's more of a curiosity question for me. You get the call, I'm backtracking all the way. You're back,
Love it.
you got the call, you are making the trip to film the show.
Hmm.
They give you all the categories because once again, no one wants to see a blowout. We want to see good
Yep.
TV. What ways did you prepare? Because this is the low down on the floor. What ways did you actually prepare yourself
Hmm.
to be on the floor since you didn't even know what the floor was about before you got on the floor?
Yeah, right. Well, I think the biggest thing that I should have done was prepare more before I actually got the call. But the number one thing that I was doing because I had never seen the floor before was I was watching it pretending that I was on the floor. So I would practice with my wife. Every single time a duel would come on, I would mute the TV. We'd both go stand up. I'd practice like putting my hands on the table. So when I knew I would be shaking on the actual floor, like I could calm my nerves a little bit. And then we would duel back and forth against each other, looking at the screen that it was showing. And so that's what I was doing leading up to it. Then once they gave us the 100 categories, I went through and color categorized every single category on the floor of I could challenge this one, no doubt. I could challenge this one if someone inherits it in the same episode, because then they wouldn't have had time to study
Mhm.
for it. Um, and then I categorized with if I have studied for this one, I think I can do it. And then a red of
Like, no.
don't challenge this one no matter what. And so I went through and categorized all those and then just started working my way down from top to bottom and spent most of my time on the top. But those categories did not end up around me.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like the crazy thing I don't think people really realize is that you could study all you want before the first episode. Like, I really want to say the real game begins the second episode because, like, oh, okay, I can focus on this. A-
Yes.
And you
Well, and
just, go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that was sorry, I'm cutting you off, but that was my strategy going into it. I said, okay, I just need to hide the first episode. If I can avoid it at all costs, I do not want to duel the first episode because I want to have that lay of the land and be able to study for whatever time I had for the second episode. Because if I could just hone in on one category, then I knew I would have some sort of lifeline for the second episode. And so that's why part of the reason, at least, why I went back to the floor after I won my first duel, because I was like, if I can hide the rest of this episode, I can study all of Sandra Bullock's films and then have a better chance at defending myself. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I know I'm chronically online. I'm on the Reddit pages. I'm on all the stuff, and I know they're
yeah.
constantly arguing. Hey, I love when people are aggressive and da 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 da. I'm like, hey, I have a wife and kids. I need to bring some money
No,
back.
right, right. That's the thing. Everyone and Rob Lowe always wants you to be so aggressive, but it's like it most of the time doesn't make sense to be aggressive. Just go back to the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, what I after knowing what happened in my episode, I obviously would do things differently if I had
Hmm.
known that the randomizer was going to land on Luke no matter what. But in the moment, I really just thought like, okay, there's four duels left. All I need is for 3 out of 4 randomizers or 3 out of 4 people who win their duels to pass and go back to the floor. And if 3 out of 4 do that, then I at least split the money with
Hmm.
someone if they happen to not pass and go back to the floor. Um, and so every time a duel happened, I was just saying, please go back to the floor, please go back to the floor. And it kept happening. I mean, all 4 passed and went back to the floor after they won. It just happened to get randomized next to me. So my hiding strategy didn't pay off.
Uh, and, and it's amazing how hiding can work. I was one of those people that was in the middle of the floor, and the only thing that
Mm-hmm.
saved me is that if you go back and watch season 3, I was on the floor with aggressive people who were like, "Nah, I'm not going back on the floor. I'm going to stay up
Yeah.
here and keep going." I'm like, "Okay,
Right? Like you do you.
yeah,
Better you
yeah,
than me.
yeah, yeah." To keep going on, and I think the meta strategy of it all, if you're randomized at the beginning of episode, go back on the floor. I don't care what anyone tells you.
Yes.
Go back on the floor.
One
If
million percent.
if you get randomized in the middle next to someone who has an inherited category, challenge them and
Mm-hmm.
then decide whether or not you want to go back to the floor. If it's at the end last bit of the episode, Oh, be aggressive. Get that 20K. And you unfortunately got two of those whammies with Luke. You had an
Yeah, right.
inheritance category towards the end of the episode, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, shucks.
Well,
I,
it was shucks is absolutely right. But no, that's the complete correct meta strategy. I agree 100%. It doesn't make any sense to be aggressive at the beginning of the episode because then you've just got a target on your back for the rest of the episode. So people are either going to try to match you and be aggressive, or if it lands anywhere close to you, people are building a path towards you.
and so I have to ask you a question that I never got to ask anybody.
Okay.
Your season has two twists. We have the season of the Battle of the States, which you
Yep.
already got to be cool with Frank, and then Frank had to make decisions. He had to make some business decisions. But the other thing, how did you feel when you learned about the still a category twist on the
Yeah,
floor?
yeah. I was really pumped for the category steal. I thought for sure that I was going to be able to use it. And if I could go back, I think I would aim to try to get the category swap because especially once you inherit a category, so much of that is just luck at that point. It's things that you are no longer an expert on, you don't even know anything about. But if you swap a category, you can get one that again you do know about. So I was really excited to see it come into play. Um, yeah, I thought I think it's a really cool twist. I'm excited to see how it plays out this season.
Yeah, I'm excited to see uh, as well, just like how many people are actually going to get a steal because like 5 seconds are nice. You get a
Right.
little time boost, but to go from let's say Sandra Bullock movies to something that you're really comfortable in, game changer. Like, yeah, please
Mm-hmm.
challenge me in this thing that I know very well.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is when you use that category swap, you are making an active declaration right there to everyone that this is the one category on the floor that you know the most about. Like, that is a really cool power move, especially if you're a whale and you have a massive territory.
Mhm.
I think that that's the best way to go because the 5 seconds, right? It's helpful on the duels like the pet supplies where it's just back and forth the entire time and it's basically a
Mhm.
duel of whoever can say things faster. But when you're in a duel where you don't know the category, 5 seconds is just going to lead to two more passes.
Yeah.
But the category swap, I think it's way more powerful, honestly.
And you could do this in two ways. I'm just spitballing here. If you were able to steal, let's say, a really intimidating category, even if you were an expert, but the
Mm-hmm.
fact that someone said, "Wow, he stole this really intimidating category. He
Yes.
must be a expert at it. I'm not going to challenge him on it."
Yes.
So let's say I took like landmark architecture. Like, dang, he must really know a lot about landmark
He-
architecture. I know nothing about landmark architecture, but but he
no,
might.
it's a really good point. Like you saw at the end of season three, by the last two episodes, it was all the most intimidating categories left because no one wanted to challenge them. That's actually a really good point. That would be a really good strategy. Just
Yeah,
take over like Greek mythology and just
yeah,
hold on to that for the next few episodes.
and all
I
that.
like that.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see that in action. My last thing before I'm gonna go into like some quick hits.
Perfect.
Now that you've seen this with your friends and family, did you invite Frank to your watch party?
I was so curious where you were going with that. um, Frank did not come to my watch party. However, we are on good terms. We flew home together and talked things out, hashed things out, and him and his wife and me and my wife are going to go get dinner or lunch at some point and just talk about our experience. So I want to clear no bad blood between me and Frank, but no, he was not at the watch party.
I'm just poking. I still say that if you're eliminated episode one, you don't have enough time to have bad blood with anybody.
Right, right.
I can't say I was there by episode 9. There was some people I was like,
Hey, that's okay. That's your right. That is your right to make it to episode 9 to have that blood.
But I think that's just everyone trying to get the money at that point.
For
Uh,
sure.
so if you were able to describe your experience in 3 words, what would you say about this experience?
Wow. 3 words. Exhilarating, shocking, ecstatic.
Ooh, look at you. Using you almost had alliteration if you hit it with
Oh, okay. Okay. Wait, let me change shocking to electric. So it can be exhilarating, electric, and
that.
ecstatic.
Oh, that. Oh, I have to ask you, as married man to married man, my wife got quite annoyed with me towards my viewing because I was so obsessed with what was going on. Was your wife annoyed with you, or was she more like, yeah, that's my baby?
She was so supportive. But it did get to a point. I was updating her on every little thing. And like every time a new promo came out and it would show just a little corner of me, I'd be like, look at this. Look, I'm on you. She's like, oh yeah, that's really good. Or I'd like show her some of my friends and be like, I know these people. She's like, I don't know them. Like, it's okay.
You don't know we've been bonded in blood.
I was like,
Bonded.
no, no, no. You don't understand. You will know them.
I understand. Like I actually still talk to my season 3 people every day to
Oh,
this day. Like
nice.
like we still communicate and do things. So it's like, welcome to the formally. I'm officially inviting you to the bigger
Wow.
thing,
Thank you. Thank you. I
and
appreciate that.
glad that you could have it. And the thing I will also say that you are unique. It doesn't happen often, but I will say, were you surprised at the edit that you got for the show? Because I was like, oh, he's the star of the show, star of the
No,
episode.
I actually was shocked. Um, my all my friends and family were like, Justin, are you so excited to see yourself on TV? I was like, I don't even know if they're gonna show me. Like, I'm out episode 1. But I was shocked. They kept cutting to me on the floor, and I was telling them, I was like, from what I've seen, they always cut to the people who are like the big storylines. So season 3, they were cutting to Brian a lot. They were cutting to, I don't remember his name, but the Jeopardy guy. They kept
Yeah,
cutting to him throughout the whole season.
yeah,
So I was
David.
like,
Yep.
I'm sure I won't get anything, but I was shocked. I mean, pleasantly surprised. Don't get it twisted. I loved it. I love the attention, but it was kind of surprising.
I was like, oh, you're making me root for this guy. I hope he goes.
No,
Oh,
right?
hope he goes far. Oh no.
Yeah, there was some subtle foreshadowing in there when I said, if anyone challenges me, I think I'm done.
Yeah. So I can't. But I will say here once again, you were my fan favorite. If I could put you on the All Star, I'll put you right next to Brian and
Wow.
David and all the Angie and all the other people on the floor. So I see. I don't think it's I don't have any inside track. I think after season 5, they might do an all-star season, taking the best 20 people from each season. And I would throw you in the mix because surprise, surprise, Justin. I ran all the numbers for all the seasons, and only 144 players have won at least one duel out of
No kidding.
all the
Wow.
seasons. Only 144.
Wow. Well, that is so incredibly kind of you. That actually means the world to me. Thank you. I did not know what the experience was going to be like looking at it on TV, but it was really, really fun seeing it. So thank you for saying that. Again, I would love to be on an all-star season. I can't believe only 144 people have won a duel. I
Yeah.
would guess much, much higher.
Hey, look, I do a lot of things to make myself feel better because I also won one
Hey,
duel.
there we go. There we
I
go. The
also
one
was a
duel club.
whale. And look, for the people who actually whales on the floor at one point in time, that is me and that's you. Not many people can claim that in our time.
That is the truth. That's a good club to be in.
And so, my last thing, knowing the people that you got to have a relationship with, you saw the people
Mhm.
studying. I know in my season we had binders of information that we had printed out and were studying.
Hmm.
People had their notes. Are there any people or person, it could be one,
Hmm.
that you see as your dark horse pick to win this season?
Yeah, yeah. So for those Survivor fans out there, you may have seen him for a brief second because they showed Johnny Fairplay a lot. But Jacob Derwin from Survivor season 36 is also on the floor this season. And I got to talk to him. He is a smart guy. He understands it and he understands like the meta level of categories. So when he sees that it's a Pez dispenser category, everyone is like going online to Pez dispensers and trying to look through all of the different ones that they make. But he understands no, this is just a pop culture category. This is a category where you just need to understand references. And so I think he could be a sneaky pick to make it far. I would be happy if he won. He's a really good guy.
Man, I'm surprised I haven't ran into him. Like, I'm actually cool with some people in the Survivor community.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So you watch Survivor. I'm cool with some. I won't name drop because it's not that time we can talk offline.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I would love to hear your name drop of who you know.
Offline about it. But nah,
Hmm.
I'm definitely gonna check it out. I saw him do his Instagram post, and I'm curious how the season is going to shake out because season three really became the Brian show early, which none of us
Yeah.
expected. That had never happened before in the way that it
No.
that it did, and so I'm curious if how he played influence season four and future seasons. And so I have to wait and see. You'll have to wait and see. Because America, they send us home as soon as we lose. And we're like, what happened? What happened? And then the group chat gets a little more silent on you and they don't talk to you as much until they go home.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, hey, that's messed up, people. I want to know what was going on. My last question before I close this out. What state do you think will be the last one standing?
What state will be the last one standing? Man, I mean, it's like you said, they should be back on the plane the next day. I really don't know anything that happens the rest of the season. 50-50 or 1 out of 49 shot, honestly. I'm going to go with New Jersey.
Hey, New Jersey in the
There we
building.
go. New Jersey in the building. I don't remember who was New Jersey or what categories they were, but it feels like a good one to go for.
Hey, you don't, New Jersey doesn't get much love these days, but you got it here tonight, New
They,
Jersey.
they have my love.
All right, Justin, thank you so much for hanging with the Low Down on the Floor podcast and reliving the wild premiere. You played with your heart and almost snatched 40 grand on night one. And to our listeners, please stick around because next week we got another contestant who shook things up on the floor. So make sure you subscribe, leave a review, follow on social media at the Low Down on the Floor, and we'll catch you next time on the Low Down on the Floor.